All right, welcome back to Surly Talk Sports, the review podcast brought to you by the TAB and Michelob Ultra. A rough weekend of results for many Kiwi sporting fans. Me in particular, of course, we had the Warriors go down on Friday night, we had the All Whites go down on Saturday night, and then unfortunately, Sunday didn't get a whole lot better. Israel Adesanya, unfortunately, suffering a fourth straight loss on Sunday, Arvo 2. At least it was free, though. We didn't have to pay to watch it. And Navajo Sterling got up. So there were some positives sprinkled in there. Geez, if you're a Hurricanes fan, the sun is shining very brightly in Wellington today. Geez, did they look good. But overall, a bit of a flush and forget type of sporting weekend for most of us. Warriors fans in particular, but we will dive into that basically now, really. Let's get straight into the NRL action. And it kicked off on a Thursday night, an eventful one. Seagulls took on the Roosters at Brookvale. Roosters too good. But this was a roller coaster, and it started pre-game. Henry, I'll bring you in here, mate. Did you see the weather conditions? I cracked up at that video. Someone had planned for like a live band to play pre-game, and it certainly wasn't the night for it. They still had the stage out there, the drum kit, but she was power cut, she was torrential rain. It looked like horrible conditions for footy.
It was weird because it was the exact same weather in Auckland.
Yes.
And I was going, okay, surely this is wrong. And I had a look, and then I was actually, after training, went for a drink with one of my mates, just sorting out our fantasy teams, as you were leaving. And then I get in the car and I get a notification saying there's like, shit's happening in Manly. So I was like, what the heck? So there was a lot going on. And also in the Moana Pacific game, there was a bit of a power cut and things.
Yes.
So it was the week of the power cuts and the lights and
It
things.
It was funny. I actually post, because I do the coin toss now at the Wales. I don't actually toss the coin. A kid tosses the coin. I just talk to the captains after. And I was talking to Uppy on the field, and I said, mate, you've had a storm into sunshine. Like, were you looking at the weather on Thursday during captain's run being like, shit, I'd rather be back in Sydney? And he was like, nah, it was way worse in Sydney. We were grateful to be here. So, yeah, you couldn't escape the weather on the weekend, that's for damn sure. But it was all go at Brookvale, and straight away off the kickoff, Manly scored. They went the length of the field off tackle 2, and I thought, hang on, the Seagulls could be on here. But from there on out, really, the Roosters were just too good. Pretty crazy. They completed 51 of their 53 sets, 96% in those conditions. They also didn't give away a single penalty, and they were far from their best. Like, it's still not 100% clicking for them on attack in particular, but given those conditions, all you really had to do was complete, and you were in with a chance of winning. 96% on a field that no doubt was still wet. It looked like it was bucketing down pre-game. There's still windy. The Manly faithful still packed out the hill, but tough conditions to complete at that level and come away with a win. That's pretty impressive from the Chooks.
Yeah, it was. We did talk about how we thought that the Chooks were probably going to bounce back and not be as bad. I did actually think that the Manly were going to show up a little bit more than that and be a little bit more dangerous. I mean, they were in the opening minute.
Jeez, and that
How good was that?
try as well. That one he scored like length of the field. They've got some insane strike, but it's the middle of the paddock where they get bashed.
And it just looked so easy in the first minute. I thought, shit, we might have got our prediction wrong here, completely wrong. Like, it could have been a completely different game. So it was an interesting one. It was sort of business as usual, I thought, for the Roosters, completed at an incredible rate. And I just thought that their quality showed up, and they sort of just dominated from minute 1, minute 3 maybe, actually. Yes. But yeah, I thought they were pretty good.
3 things for me. The first one, Jake Trbojevic again, like, I think under 50 metres again.
He doesn't go any... Like, I love the guy. Actually, one of my favourite players of all time. Great guy, great human. Just doesn't go anywhere nowadays with his meters. Yeah. Like, 50s
even his tackle count is lower than normal too. Obviously, he's rocking that specialised headgear. He's worried about his head
How rude
knocks.
is that headgear?
It certainly makes him stand out, and I can't help but wonder if that's why I'm noticing him more, but... Yeah, look, I'm a massive fan of Jake. He's done great things for New South Wales and Origin. He's done great things for Manly too. But, yeah, the start to the season, like I was just maybe saying, a bit of a slow start. He's going to hit his straps soon. But the more the weeks go on, the more you start to wonder, which is a little bit sad. The second one, Manly fans booing DCE every time he got the ball. Like,
I can't remember. Did they get Do they get sick of it? And in the 78th
Nah,
minute, they stop?
they were persistent.
Because I was thinking, I remember talking to one of my mates. I was like, yeah, okay, sweet. This is happening for the first 15, but there's no way they do it for 80.
They did it for 80. And even when they were losing, they still did it. Every time he touched the ball, every time he kicked the ball. I don't know if it was just one group, but there was a persistent bunch that booed every single time. Like, the bloke won you a premiership. He has done some amazing things. And yes, he's left, but I think the scenes that have gone on as of late at Manly should show that maybe it wasn't all DCE. Maybe the club is just a bit of a shit show at the moment. And my third point around Fozzie coming in to take over, Seibold gone, perhaps there's something in that. But I don't think booing a club legend like that and someone who had played in your jersey for 15 years is the way to go. I had heard rumours they were going to boo him beforehand, but everyone was saying, no, surely not. Like, I love banter and things like that, but that's a little bit disappointing for me.
And it was a weird one because I felt like, actually, you talked about how whether things are going on, whether that had any impact. I actually think that if things were going on better at the club, they wouldn't have booed him.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If there's a bit more positive vibes going around, they're winning some games, they would have gone, okay, well, he's a club legend, he's moved on, all of this. But because they were angry, because they were losing, they want their coach's head, like, that's gone. I feel like that just didn't really help the scenario at all.
No. Not at all. So, all a bit strange. And then my third point, Foz comes in. And I actually love this. It's pretty crazy though, right? Like 4.5 months from retirement. He is now an NRL head coach. But I feel like Seibold, this was coming for him. They've lost 3 games to start the year. Their 2 points have come from a bye. All 3 losses have been at home. I think when the draw came out, and to add to that too, the Raiders loss looks a whole lot worse now. Like week 1, you lose in Golden Point to the Raiders, last year's minor premiers, and you think, oh, look, we're a decent side, but the Raiders have really been struggling since. I think this was inevitable, and we were saying it was a race between Todd Payten and Seibold to see the first coach gone. Well, Payton's turned things around. We'll touch on that shortly, but yeah, this to me, this call had to happen, and I think for like an interim coach, I think Foz is kind of perfect. Like, you just want someone now that is going to get some mana out of the boys, right? That's going to get a lift from the playing group and put a bit of pride back in the jersey. It's kind of too late to bring in a new coach now that's going to change the complete way you play and everything like that. It's just about a bit of pride and trying to get a bit of a lift out of the lads. And I think Foz will certainly get that. I don't think he would have moved on his mate in DCE either. So it's funny how things all work out. But yeah, well done to Kieran Foran. I'm excited to see how he goes. Often when assistants get an interim job, it's just because they can get the best out of the lads and they have a good relationship with the playing group. I'm not expecting crazy things, but I think we'll see a bit more effort. And I'm hoping he's someone that can get the best out of a Jake. I'm also hoping he puts in a Joey Walsh in there because
they need something.
They need something. They need some creativity. I don't think Luke Brooks is the guy, but even if you bring him on at hooker off the bench, Brandon Wakeham is getting big minutes for them in the 14 jersey at the moment. You can't tell me this young up-and-comer and Joey Walsh, who's been playing well in Cup 2, isn't worthy of a crack when your team is 0-3.
It's a different story if you're 3-0.
Yes.
But they're 0-3. You can't lose anything from it, I don't think, and you're not getting enough from those players to think, okay, he's keeping... Like when you're going well, obviously you're keeping the young gun out of the squad.
Yeah.
But when you're not going well, geez, you chuck them in, and with the exhilarating like backs that they've got,
just
use
them.
them.
Early
give them,
ball.
Saab
hasn't scored a try in how long?
And he's been in my multis and everything.
Yeah, get him out of there, the old submarine. He's not scoring at the moment, but like that's a sign of their attack at the moment, 100%. One last thing too, the Roosters did win, but Sam Walker, his complaining to the ref is getting... really annoying to me.
He's been hanging out too much with James Tedesco.
Well, like, it's such a shame because I love watching him play, in particular last year when, like, his attacking instincts are just so good. He's the definition of eyes up footy. He can make something happen from nothing. He chances his arm. So he's a pleasure to watch in that aspect, but I'm sure the bloke complains more now than anyone else in the competition. And it's just getting a bit of a tough watch. So I'd like to see him just focus back in on his footy because he can be so good and the Roosters still have so much improvement in them. They are far from performing at a 10 out of 10 level. That's for damn sure. Friday night footy, Warriors 14, Tigers 32. Did a deep dive on this on Surly Set of 6. So if you haven't tuned in yet, it is already out. Go and listen to that if you're a Wars fan and you want a 30-plus minute dive into all things a part of this game, so we won't rip into it too much. I will say the better team got the win on the night. The Tigers showed up, they were prepared, they were hungry. Benji did a great job in terms of game plan prep, and then the players executed it really well. I loved our start. 10-0 up. I thought, here we go. We are away here, 13 plus on ways. And then we just kind of went away from what was working so well for us. I thought at times we looked clunky, we looked rusty, we looked a little bit lost for ideas. Defensively, one-on-one, we weren't great either. 46 missed tackles. You can't do that against a team like the Tigers, who are dangerous and have some long-range try-scoring threats. Adam Dewey, Jock Madden, Jareem Buller, all those guys showed up and put in big performances. And yeah, unfortunately for us, we were at 70% of our potential. And if you rock up in the NRL, as we saw across the whole weekend, at anything less than your best, there are 12 or 13 teams that can knock you over. And that's exactly what we saw on Friday night.
Yeah, it was a bit of a reality check for everyone involved. And I liked parts of it. There was parts of it like the start, but we talk about this in Surly Set of Six, so go check that out. But the change of the sort of momentum switches in the NRL nowadays with the 6 gains, and it just didn't really help us. And we've scored a lot of points in those last 10 minutes, in the first 10 minutes, and the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
But it just really, the momentum changed in this one. Dewey was impressive on the back of playing with one hamstring or one groin. Jock Madden you talked about. And then middle kind of just fronted up more than what our middle did, I thought. So it was a disappointing performance. And it's a tough game this week against the Sharks as well.
It is, and the boys need to bounce back. So hopefully it's a bit of a flush job. As we said, Tigers so good on defense, but I think we strayed away from our strengths on attack. But Surly Set of Six is the place to find the full review, because we went in deep on this one, biggest talking points and takeaways, and it wasn't all positive either. Our first loss of the year, so we went in. I will say, though, on a Monday morning, look back at the results of the weekend, we just didn't realise it was upset round, mate. We didn't realise that the Storm were going to go out and lose. We didn't realise the Bulldogs were going to go out and lose. We didn't realise that 3 of last week's top 4 teams on the ladder were going to go out and lose. So competition-wide, it was one to flush and forget about. But the Warriors will be working incredibly hard this weekend to make sure we don't suffer back-to-back losses, and I am confident that we won't. An upset, I thought that was going to happen, but didn't happen. Geez, I would have loved for it to happen. The Broncos 26, the Dolphins 12. An exciting game as expected. 99 missed tackles between these two teams. And yes, it is 4-0. I can see you gesturing that, Henry. It's crazy. Of all the upsets across the weekend, I think we probably both went, 3 from 7 or 8 across the game.
Yeah, it wasn't a great round for tipping.
No, but this one was the one that you happened to get right. You
got to pick some right ones, and I have a knack of doing that at the moment.
Oh, just in the ones where I go against you. There's one a week, right? That's the aim of the game.
Yes, but now I think you've got to change that. You got to because at the moment we're just
multiple.
Well, at the moment we're just going one each difference, and that one's not going well. So maybe you've got to go to 4 different.
Or you do your picks
Or
first.
I do my picks first, which we could do.
And then I go off the back of that. We could do that because, geez, I need something for sure.
You do.
But, 99 missed tackles between the two teams. I think it was 50-odd for the Finns and the other 40-odd from the Broncos. It was kind of all-out attack, but some great scrambled D in the first half kept the scoreline close. I thought the Broncos showed they were up for it early. Staggs scores. He loves playing at Suncorp against the Finns. He does the old "this is my house" thing, and they got off to a hot start. Selwyn Cobbo looked like he was going to go in for all money, but the Broncos scrambled well to tackle him out. I thought Isako saved a beautiful try for Karapani as well. That was a bee's dick type stuff. I think it went upstairs as try, and then the old bunker got the magnifying glass out and they ruled that one out. Ezra Mam saved a try with that ankle tap on Jake Averillo.
How good was that?
Mate, massive.
Yeah.
And the Finns did end up scoring a little bit later on in that set, or perhaps the set after, but there were 3 or 4 saved tries in the first half that I thought were almost guaranteed. 10-6 at halftime could have easily been more. Second half, much of the same, really. Teams were exchanging tries blow for blow. It was 7 minutes to go, though, and I messaged you when this happened, because I thought I could be on here with a sniff. The game was within a try, and Reece Walsh
puts an absolute beauty of a boot up.
Well, yes, but pretty standard, right? Ezra Mam was chasing, but he wasn't going to catch it on the full. He kind of pulled out. Jermaine Isako and the hammer just stand there and let it bounce. In goes the Japanese cuisine, Shibasaki, to score off it. That is just poor play from the Finns. You do not let that ball bounce. And I'm sure both of them, Isako and the hammer, probably looked at each other straight after and was like, I thought you had that. I thought you had that. And it was one of those moments. But That was a kick in the dick for me because at that moment I knew I'd lost and I was just starting to get excited.
11:48 p.m. I said, throw the towel in. It's only round 4. And you said, why let that bounce? Idiots, man.
Literally.
Oh,
and
so
it
good.
didn't help you with chirping me. In weeks gone by, you've chirped me the day after, and that's been easier
Yeah,
for
I've
me
let
to
you sit
swallow.
on it.
Yeah, but this one you were straight in, and I woke Kim up. I was like, you dickheads. And she was like, what is going on? Pissed me off. Now I'm 4-0, but hey, it is what it is. Good win. 0-4, sorry. Good win for the Broncos. Another tough week for them in the media. Their defence coach quit. Gordon Tallis controversially had his name taken off a conference room, which was made into a massive deal, but the players do the talking on the field. I thought Carrigan was great. Mariner and Staggs both ran for over 200 run metres. Reynolds, I've been pretty critical. I thought he controlled the game well. For the Finns, Averillo, 265 run metres, and Fine Fuiaki, 222 run metres, 36 tackles. Massive effort from him, only highlighting him because he's in my fantasy team. But look, a tough loss for the Finns, still wasn't the worst. I just felt like the Broncos were pretty bloody good on the night, so well done to them.
Yeah, a lot was going on during the week, and that probably, I'm not sure whether it helped them, because I feel like it maybe did help them, and they were motivated. They were probably really angry. The situation wasn't ideal, so it was a big win for the Broncos at home. They don't like losing to them.
No.
The Dolphins, especially at Suncorp, so it was a big result.
Battle of Brizzy, Bronx get it done. Super Saturday, Dogs 16, Knights 24. Did not see this one coming. The second upset of the weekend. Knights, they were so up for this one, though. And I feel like the referee was a little bit against them, I didn't think they got the rub of the green. A couple of forward passes there for the Dogs that led to tries and some tough calls. Fletcher Sharp back, which was a big addition for the Knights, but I don't feel like he killed it. It was more the other guys that really stood up. Both wingers huge. The XL Condom, Dommy Young, 3 tries, 269 run metres, 7 tackle breaks. Greg Marju, 201 run metres. Gagai, 9 tackle breaks. The old grandpa out there in the centres. We had Wellington Phoenix Crosland making 52 tackles, just the one miss.
And his nose, have you seen that?
He needs one of the great plastic surgery jobs when he is done. If you have to room with that bloke on an away trip, you would be so pissed off. The snoring coming from him. He's getting to Blake Ferguson levels now by the looks of it.
It looked worse.
Oh, it looked shocking. I saw one of his teammates put up like a picture of an Avatar person from the movie.
And his nose is like that.
Yeah, and he looked very similar to that. But shit, did he just work hard all game. And I thought the Knights really deserved this. Like, their whole forward pack fronted up. For the Dogs, 57 missed tackles compared to the Knights' 30. I feel like the Bulldogs, their whole DNA has been Serraldo bringing across that Panthers defense, and they've always been so good at not conceding many points. 57 missed tackles is crazy. They lost the kicking battle, 800 metres to 455. The Knights were just up for this one, but I do have to say Galvin at 7, to me, it's not ticking boxes. They are so sideways on attack.
Like he just travels.
He travels sideways, like a 6 does,
line.
right? Like your 7 needs to play square. Like Matty Johns, all those guys always say, play north-south, not east-west. When you watch Isaiah Katoa, Nathan Cleary, whenever they catch the ball, their hips, their first movement is square, then they head out. I feel like Galvin's always kind of sweeping around the back, and it just cramps them for so much room. Like when you have guys like a Stephen Crichton, Matty Burton, Kikau, Preston, you should be scoring points. In their 3 games so far, they've scored 15, 14, and 16. That is just not good enough for the side they have on paper. I'd be interested to see if you chucked in Sean O'Sullivan. Like, he's all right as a 7, but at least he'll play square. He's a genuine 7 that'll straighten them up. I'd be keen to see what that looked like for them on attack. I also don't rate how they tinker around with their spine in what you call good ball sets when they're on attack. Looked like Crichton and Burton were swapping the whole time, and to me, like, they were doing it last year, swapping Crichton with Connor Tracy. I don't know if that's necessary. Like, if your spine isn't good enough to score you points, then why are they even starting in those positions in the first place? It just seems to me like they're kind of overdoing things. I think they need to swallow their pride a little and chuck Galvin at 6 where he can be so good. Jeez, I think they would love a Toby Sexton back, right? But that ship has sailed. I don't know. When you got an Ari Tuala and that out in the centres, why not just move Burton there now and play a genuine 7 at 7 and Galvin at 6 if you're going to die on this Galvin hill? Because I still think he's a bloody good player. just not a 7 to me, and I think it's costing them.
Yeah, the switching thing with Crichton and Burton and stuff is just weird. And also, we talked about round 1 or Vegas that they didn't take the field goal and things like that. It's just simple things that I feel like they're not actually getting right, or they're not taking the right opportunities when they're seeing. And the Galvin sideways thing, you notice it. When you watch back the game, you'll just notice he's just going like this.
Yeah, like sweeping plays, which is all good as a 6.
And it's all good if you're receiving it as the second person after the first person's taken on the line and there's some gaps, right? But it's like when you're the first receiver and there's no gaps, you got to create something by taking on the line.
Almost like watching little kids when they first play. And you know,
Just
there's always a coach out there and they're like, no, go straight. And it's like they've got...
impacts,
yeah,
wasps.
literally. Like you got to engage defenders, sink people before you move to width. And yeah, I'm just surprised this Dogs team has so many rep-level players, so much talent. I do think they need Leo Thompson back in the middle too, just to try and win that area, because at the moment... like their middles are getting dominated. But well done to the Knights. I didn't see this one coming. And to get a win like that and be sitting in the top 4 without Dylan Brown, without Kalen Ponga, pretty elite. Speaking of top 4, when you look at it at the moment, have a look now. It is pretty crazy. Panthers 1, Warriors 2, believable. Tigers 3rd, Knights 4th, Bunnies 5th. I would not have predicted that.
Nah, I wouldn't have either.
I know it's early days, but I still wouldn't have predicted that at the end of round 4. So well done to the Knights, and they've actually been really good to watch. Panthers Para, speaking of good to watch, the machine just marches on. Another clinic from them. Well done to Parramatta, I guess. First team to score 20 on them this year, which ruined my bet at $1.67.
And that was in your multis, I assume?
Yeah, that was in 95% of all of my multis, so that was a coach killer. They scored 20 on the nose, but it's 20 or more, so that really did sink me. I've never prayed harder for a Mitch Moses misconversion, but unfortunately he banged it over. They've scored double compared to what anyone else had done in the first 3 rounds on the Panthers, so I guess you got to celebrate the little wins when you're playing a clinical team like Penrith. But again, Milky Jenkins, outstanding. Speaking of punting, I had him for 2 or more, so I rolled the code last week, the hooker code. First, anytime try scorer Warriors, rolled it into a Jakey Laban at 5.20, put $20 on that, got about 120 back. I thought, let's parlay this. Chucked it all on what I thought was going to be a sure thing. Thomas Jenkins, 2 or more tries, 120 on.
And the Eels under.
Returning 260. No, I left the Eels out, just went straight up on the nose here. I tell you what, the bloke decided to leave it to the 77th minute to score his second try. I was so nervous, and I didn't want to tell the missus why I was so nervous, because she would have been
so why are you panicking on the Panthers in the 77th minute who are winning by 28 points?
Exactly. And why have you put $120 on Thomas Jenkins to score a double? But
he's a New South Wales winger.
This is my point. Does he potentially, like he was in that squad last year, that training squad, no Lomax, so there's a wing spot available. You'd say Jacob Keres isn't exactly demanding it at the moment.
He's injured too, I think.
Yeah, neither is Nwanga Netawase. He's not exactly playing out of his skin like he was last year. Got a fair few errors in his game.
And
he's a Kangaroos winger.
And he's leaving to Union.
You could do something funky with like a Trell Mitt Turbo type of thing.
You'd put Milky Jenkins
I think at the moment you do, right? And you go with that Penrith combination, which is working so well. But yeah, pretty crazy to consider. He's been dishing up tries this year. I thought Casey McLean had his best performance of the year so far. 204 run meters, 2 try assists, 5 tackle breaks, and Cleary, a great watch as always. 4 try assists, 8 from 8 off the tee. The best thing about watching him at the moment is his kicking game. And all these kicks that clearly he's worked hard on in the off-season, but they're not conventional at all. They're banana kicks. They're kicks that constantly fade out and send players out on the move. He's looking one way, he kicks the other. So easy to do stuff like that on the training paddock. To have the confidence and the skill level to be able to execute them in the game is elite. He extracted a 40-20 out of Joash Papali, which I'm sure he would like again. It wasn't going to be a 40-20, but the bloke just dives in and whacks the ball, and it ends up going out, and it turns into a 40-20. But he's just playing mind games with his kicking game at the moment. He is on another level to start the year.
Yeah, he's just incredible. Like the way he takes on the line, he's got so much time, space. Never looks worried. Never looks like whenever he gets his hands on the ball, you're just confident that he's going to make the right decision and the right play. So there's no like question marks of why he's leading the Dally M at all at the moment.
Interesting point. He said he's going to test the market at the end of 2027. Now, does he actually? I'm not sure, but he has actually never come out and said this.
And I also think that he wants a big contract.
He does.
So he's going
to get one regardless.
Well,
though.
yeah, but he probably
P&G
wants another
come into
100K.
play, so they're going to have big money to throw at him.
Yeah, but he's not.
I don't think so.
No.
I would think it's Panthers, P&G, or us. I genuinely reckon those are the three options for him.
I doubt. True. Mitch Barnett.
Ivan could come across and be a
Lukey
head of rugby league type of role, oversee...
Director of
rugby league, oversee Webby, chime in. Jet still with another year, I think. I think he's signed till end of 2028, might be into 2027, I'm not sure, but the lure of coming home, he grew up here. It's a long bow, but I can't see him going to any other club apart from Penrith. Maybe P&G for crazy money, but I still don't believe that. I think if he leaves the Panthers, in terms of clubs and the competition at the moment, I don't know. I think the Warriors would be right up there.
Yeah, I see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'll shut you down.
Allow us to dare to dream. Allow us to dare to dream. Upset, final upset of the weekend, really. Cowboys 28, Melbourne Storm 24. The $4.80 underdog gets the job done at home. And I said, just as it looked like Peyton was in trouble, if you can hear beeping in the background, apologies. It's all go outside Surly Studios at the moment. It's probably the North Harbour Rugby fan group forming out there.
I'm not sure there's that many of those
after
people.
Northcote got done. Yeah. No, they're small in numbers, but they're loud. They're vocal, both online and in person. The furnace, yes. But well done to the Cows. I thought Jake Clifford had himself a game. Apart from his goal kicking, he was 2 from 6. The Storm were 2 from 5. 4 from 11. They could have literally won this game if Nick Meaney wasn't injured, but if Harry Grant had dialed in the boot. 4 from 11, that is woeful stuff combined.
Yeah, well, Harry Grant had 46 fantasy points ended up, and he could have had about 60 because he missed about 5 goals.
A lot of people have brought him in over Brayley Wright because he's goal kicking, but... yeah, a tough night off the tee for both teams. For the Cows, I thought Drinkwater was outstanding. 3 try assists. Braden Burns bagged himself a double. I thought Taumalolo wound back the clock in his minutes, dominated the middle. But geez, the Storm will be disappointed with this one. 76% completion rate, back-to-back losses. They haven't lost 3 straight since round 16 to 18 back in 2022. They play the Panthers this week. So that is a very real chance at Combank Stadium too. Bellamy will have his boys up for this one, but I can't see the Panthers dropping this game. That would be pretty crazy scenes for the Melbourne Storm, who we were a little wary of to start the year in terms of how much talent they'd lost, but they look so good in those opening rounds. They've had a couple more players now go out with injury, Nick Meaney, Lasati, guys like that. But yeah, I expected them to pick this game up on the road for sure.
Yeah, it was an odd watch, really. You just don't expect those many mistakes and those many ill-disciplined things for the Storm. And we talked about how the Cowboys are literally on thin ice, coach, everything, the way they're playing, the players, they've got enough quality to win games of NRL football, but they just weren't. And it was weird for this one to be the one that they win after the Storm the other week, and it just didn't really, no one saw it coming.
They've done this before too. I feel like every time it gets to point critical for Peyton, they go on and they win a couple games, and it buys them another 6 or 8 rounds, right? So it's a weird one. It's like they play for him, but only when shit really hits the fan. But then again, maybe Reid Marnie, all this, they're just starting to hit their straps. I don't know. I have zero confidence in them. But this was a bloody good win for Melbourne. Warbrick, 4 tries. You love to see that. Fa'alongo, a try, over 200 run meters. Hughes with 3 try assists. But the biggest news for the Storm, I guess, from the weekend came after the game. Jermaine Isaako signed. 2-year deal. Great get. Replaces Nick Meaney's goal kicking, which they're going to lose to the Perth Bears. But also surely means Warbrick now to the Wars.
You would think so.
Roger gone.
Yeah.
Isaako to the Storm. It makes 100% success, 100% sense, right? And
they've sort of announced it without announcing it,
exactly.
Right?
And watching him run in 4 was incredibly pleasing. I'd have to imagine we're in this 10-day cooling off period and something's going to get announced shortly, let's hope, because he is a great player, Kiwi lad that we'd love to bring home. I thought he was really good on the weekend too. Super Sunday, Raiders, Sharks. Geez, we've got the Sharks all wrong, 34 points to 22, a good win for them. Trindle combining nicely with Hines. He's playing that more 7 role while wearing a 6 jersey. I thought he was good. He had 54 touches compared to Hines' 38, so showing he is the dominant half. Both had 2 try assists. I thought Trindle's kicking game was really good as well. And then you throw that in with someone like a Sione Katoa looking dangerous out wide, and Adam Fanor-Blake, 222 run meters in 52 minutes. He had a field day up against a Raiders pack that is the strongest area. You could tell he really rose to the occasion of this one. I am looking forward to that matchup in the middle this weekend. Fish and Co. taking on AFB. It's going to be a great watch.
He got the better of Tapine and Horsburgh, I thought, and that's no mean feat when it's sort of your own. Like, I mean, when we look at the Sharks forward pack, it's really just AFB with elite sort of status in the NRL. And to take it to those 2 players and dominate it away from home, get the win, like, it's just a huge moment for their season. Like, not just them winning the game, but them sort of winning that battle and then coming into the Warriors game this week on the back of the Warriors loss. So it's a good turning point, I think.
Speaking of goal kickers, Nico Hines missed an absolute sitter, which I'm sure he will...
Was that like right in front of the post? I didn't see this one.
Yeah, right in front. I'm sure he'll want to make amends for that. Hopefully he doesn't this weekend.
Yeah, well, we need more of those.
Raiders, interesting, right? Like, I thought Noah Martin was really good. I thought their pack was still pretty decent, but yeah, you take out that Golden Point win against Manly, and they've been pretty bang average now. Really, the only change is Fogarty. So
Tomoko, like what?
Yeah, I still like, and I copped a bit of heat last week actually.
Did you?
From Raiders fans just saying Simi Sasagi's so good on defense. Tomoko really struggles there, so that is why. And I get that, right? But you also need a balance between strike and defense.
Yeah.
And I still think he's got an attacking upside that warrants at least being in your 19.
I agree.
I think clubs should be lining up, and I think they will be. And there were some rumours Ricky has said he's free to look around. Unconfirmed rumours. If that's the case, I'm on the blower minutes ago, hours ago. I'm ringing the bloke.
I mean, it's a bit like the Manly stuff with Joey Walsh. Like, if you're losing games, it makes sense to not bring in and make those changes. But he's an astute footballer. Like, he's a really good player.
At least on the 19, so that if you're down by 10 with 10 minutes to go,
you can chuck him in.
And defense isn't the priority. Like, they did it against us. They injected him against us off the 19-man bench. And yes, we pumped them, but he looked energetic and he brought that bit of worry factor when he carried the ball where I was like, shit, anything could happen here. And things like that can play a part in getting you a result. So well done to the Sharkies. And then speaking of well done, Titans. Big win for them in the Wooden Spoon Bowl. The Barley Belly Bowl, I called it, because it was more than a poo slinger. And I think it kind of lived up to that. Tough watch. 22 points to 14, the Titans won. I'm glad those 8 o'clock Sunday games, that was the last one of the season. They are a tough watch.
Why is that the last game?
They move forward now a couple hours. I think it's
yeah.
like a whole daylight savings type of thing, right? So I think our latest kickoff will be 6 o'clock on a Sunday. Staying up to 10 o'clock on a Sunday
watching that is just not good.
To watch the Titans play, because it's always the fucking Titans the last game of the weekend.
Or the Raiders.
Yeah, or the Dragons. And they just happen to play each other in this one. I'm relieved that time slot is done. I do feel sorry for Kyle Flanagan. Nasty head knock. I don't know if you saw it. Apparently... So he got rushed off to hospital.
Okay, though.
Scans have come back well. The Dragons medical staff were saying he was out cold for 4 or 5 minutes, which is crazy. So I'm stoked he's okay, because normally that long with your brain without oxygen or functioning fully, that is a scary sight. He was able to ring his mum, which is always important. Always ring your mother after a bad injury, and ring his misso. I felt really sorry for Shane Flanagan. The cameras kept cutting to him.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good TV work.
I get that it's your coach, and they probably would cut to him a little bit if there was a major injury in the game, but not as much as they did because it was his son. They 100% knew what they were doing, and it just made me feel real icky, eh? Like, no coach should have to watch their player in that state. No father should have to. And when you combine the both...
Agree, completely.
And then some Dragons fans who, at the time, post-game, probably didn't realise the extent of the injury, but they were, like, weighing in, saying they were happy that this happened. Like, he shouldn't have been on the paddock anyway. That's disgusting too. So sometimes you got to put life ahead of the sport, right? And that was one of these moments for the Titans. Better from Tino. Still only 49 minutes, but over 130 run meters.
Did more in those 49 minutes.
Yeah. I thought the standout was, I think it's Ha'u. The second row.
Adama Hau?
Yeah, Hau, one of the two.
It's Hau. I think so.
There you go. Apologies for the pronunciation.
Good player.
Great player. 2 tries, 166 run meters in only 80 minutes. Well, only 80 minutes. That's the amount of time there is in a game. But he played the full game. I thought he was really bloody good. He's another fantasy buy.
How good was the left hand, right foot step, left hand fend, change ball hand, everything?
He looks
unreal.
The real deal. So a great find there for the Titans. Quickly before we park the NRL too, shout out to the New South Wales Cup lads. 1-point win over the West Tigers. New South Wales Cup team. Lukey Hansen with a field goal to clutch it. My boy Bishop Neal, 2 tries. 17 years old, 2 games for Cup, 3 tries. Just showing that the step up in physicality isn't too much for him. He is an elite talent, and if he hasn't debuted by the time he's 19, 20, I'd be incredibly surprised.
Yeah, completely agree. It was a great win. And also shout out Sport Nation Sam Hewitt for doing the commentary on Sky for the first time.
Oh.
He was doing the New South Wales Cup. So
how good. He deserves that. He's one of the best callers.
One of the better ones. So yeah, no, good on him for
stoked to see that. Well done to Sammy, friend of the show. Bloody good bloke. Super Rugby. Let's chop these games up. We mentioned power cuts. Let's start there. Landers, Moana. Landers get the dub. Look, 5 points. They take what they needed from that game.
I thought they were good value for that as well.
Yeah, I thought they were a bit more dominant than the scoreline suggested. I think there were a few opportunities there that perhaps went a little bit bigging. I don't think Moana rolled over, though, and I loved seeing the old school, well, it's not even old school, it never really happens, but 2 North Harbour referees that just happened to be in the building rolling out as TMOs in the in goal.
In the in goal. How good is him searching for whether it's down on
down on all fours? I think Ryan Nixon was one of them. He was in track pants.
Yeah.
I think Scotty, who actually refereed our game on the Saturday, gave him a fair bit of shit about it too. He was the other one.
Was he good on Saturday though?
Yeah. Oh.
Was it can't have been the reason why you lost.
No, it certainly wasn't.
Okay,
when you concede that many points, we were worse.
But it's an attack coach. You're an attack coach.
We missed more tackles than the
points that
highest NRL team did on the weekend. That is for damn sure. But yes, as you mentioned, I'm a backs coach, attack focus, so not my area of expertise.
Are you just saying that this week, or like next week you're a defence coach?
Look, I'm just looking to shift blame, basically, because my coaching debut certainly didn't have Dave Rennie jumping on the blower to me. But that is okay. We build from here. Bodies coming back. Go the mighty coat. But well done to the Landers. Well done to the Landers. I thought Caleb Tangitau was really good. I thought our boy Lasanga was really good as well. And I really enjoyed Nick Shearer. I thought he was bloody sharp at 9.
Yeah, he's done well in NPC level. Mm-hmm. And I think Jamie said during the week that he just felt like Folau was playing a little bit stressed or a little bit just not up to standard. And he just knew that Nick Shearer on debut, or whether it was, I think he's played a couple of games maybe, but he would just play with freedom.
Yeah,
without
take the
any
shackles
stress,
off, right?
Yeah, and just run the football, run, see what he play in front of what he can see. So yeah, I thought it was a good move and it paid off.
Love that. Great result for the Landers, I guess, to bounce back. I think Moana, though, they can be reasonably not happy, but it wasn't a cricket score, and we predicted that it wouldn't be, right? It hit the unders. So if you took the under bet that I mentioned, it was under 64.5. That was never going to come through with those weather conditions. So
how about the fact that the last 20 minutes were streamed on Moana's Instagram?
That is just great stuff, right?
That's electric.
I feel like
someone running down the sideline.
That shit only happens to Moana as well.
Yeah.
Albany Stadium, certainly needs some work, but when only 200 people show up year round, it's very hard to have money to do the work. So, yeah, well done to the Landers. They banked the points. The second game, though, upset week continued into Super Rugby. We had written the Tars off. We thought the Brumbies were going to be way too good.
Yeah, and I said as I walked into the studio today that it wasn't a good weekend for the teams that I hate. Well, it was a good weekend.
A couple
of
Sydney-based clubs must have listened to the pod and we've really fired them up.
They lifted.
So a bit of humble pie for us this week.
But for the Waratahs, when they won 30-28 against the Brumbies, I actually really like this one because obviously being a Blues fan, the Tars winning, sort of the Brumbies are in and around that 3-4 spot. Gives the Blues a little bit of breathing room.
5
it's
point
not a bad
separation, right? And
it
brings them back closer to the Chiefs, which means less chance of them hoping finals games. So yeah,
because who wants to go to Canberra?
No one. Apparently, no one. Shout out to Charlie Cale, the superfood, for still scoring and doing all right in fantasy. Not as big, but still good.
Yeah, the best thing about him actually at the moment is something that I didn't realise. I looked at the stats this morning. He's actually won the most line-outs in the competition. Like, he's on 38 line-out receives or whatever.
So he's not a Tazano
So he's not just a
rolling
try scorer. a lot of people will just
stealing
see
rolling mauls. No.
Yeah. So it's good to see that he's actually got a little bit more to his game. He obviously does have more to his game, but I mean that the
he's doing his core roles as well as scoring tries. Yeah. So well done to the Tars. A great win for them on your Saturday.
Wow.
Statement. And this was a game, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it, because this is how footy should be played. I thought the Hurricanes, and this is my Michelob moment of the week, actually. One, the Whineanganofo hat-trick. He is such a pleasure to watch, but more so the style of play that the Canes play. It is fast, it's up-tempo, their skill set is so good, their attack in the wide channels is just beautiful. And they play what's in front of them. Like, they have a clear structure, yes, but they are willing to break it when they sense opportunities. They move the ball to space. They allow their X factor to be their X factor. Their back row is so impressive. That loose forward trio is a great watch regardless. You can change bodies in and out. Their depth in their squad is really good too. And we said they had a soft draw and that the Reds were going to be their first real test. 52-14? It was no test for them. They were so impressive.
Yeah, they were. And the back row thing is a big point because they actually have different ways of playing with their back row. Like when Lakai's at 6 or he's at 8, like it doesn't matter. And their change of sort of decision making with that, like they can play direct, they can ball carry really hard, they can go out the back, they can like have subtle footwork at the line. There's all sorts of different ways that they can play. And it sort of complements how Ruben Love, how Geordie Barrett plays. It gives them front football. And I just really enjoy the way Clark Laidlaw's got them playing. And we did talk about how the Reds were going to be the hardest challenge. But now it looks like they still had a soft draw. Or is it just that they're making every team look like a soft draw?
Well, I think they did have a soft draw, and this game was a statement. They got a bye and then the Blues, which is going to be a great clash because that's a top-of-the-table matchup down there at the Cake Tin, I think it is, so that'll be a good game. I'm loving, too, defensively, they force mistakes, and then they have so many bodies push up and support that they can turn a knock-on into a 60-metre-odd line break. Devin Flanders, insane again. I thought Duplessis Karifi was outstanding, though. We'll get into our 3-2-1s later on. But I think a guy who's been fighting just to start, who's an All Black, I think he had a massive performance. Really good at the breakdown. Thought Geordie Barrett was really good. Roygaard, as always. Ruben Love, impressive. They're just a great team to watch at the moment because they play an exciting brand, but they execute it at such a high level. There's not too many chinks in their armour yet. I'm excited to see, though, that physical aspect that the Blues will bring to that game.
It's a different game against them,
if it throws them off, because they're not going to have front football the whole time, are they? Like, collision-wise, it's going to step up a whole lot, the physicality. So I'm really keen to see how that game plays out.
Yeah, agreed. Is Ruben Love, I know the breakdown last night talked about a lot about whether Ruben Love is it's a risky option, but at the same time, it's sort of it's an optimistic option. Like you can use that to your advantage in the way he's playing, the way that Kane's in, especially if you pair Love with Roygaard at 9 and Barrett at 12. Yeah. There's actually a combination there that actually will probably allow him to just play what he sees.
And you'd argue that a fair few members of his loose forward trio should be in that starting team.
So he's got a lot of players around him.
Yeah, Proctor could well be the centre too.
Could be.
So how about we do our form All Blacks 15 on Thursday's pod? There's a lot of buys this week. Easter weekend, it appears the lads wanted a long weekend and Super Rugby's given it to them. So maybe it's round 8 this week. That's the halfway point of the regular season. I think we do our form All Black side from Super Rugby at the moment.
Yeah, deal.
But I think, Bodie's playing well. He's pulling the strings really well for the Blues. D-Mac not quite there yet. I'd say Ruben Love is right in the hot seat for sure.
Yeah, he definitely is. And if Mo'unga doesn't come back ASAP or whatever that situation plays out, he's a different
Interesting
chance.
Too. Dave Rennie seems like a guy, and Barnesy, that they want to play some
No
footy.
bullshit Barnesy.
Yeah, no bullshit Barnesy. They want to play some code, and Ruben Love certainly wants to do
code.
that, right?
Yeah.
So he might be right in their calculations because talking to Shooter and that, they say Rennie is a guy, yes, big on fundamentals, but also big on attack. If you see something, go for it. And he loves guys that can counter-attack and have a real diverse skill set. So
Ruben Love at 10, Caleb Tangitau on the right wing, and you've all of a sudden, if you kick to the backfield with Ruben Love, Will Jordan, Caleb Tangitau at the back, we've got some electrifying backs there.
And imagine if you could throw in Whineanganofo in there too. And he's a
playing
guy,
unreal.
Unreal. Yes, I'm gutted he's leaving, and because he signed so early in the competition, that we didn't get to have this All Blacks Bolter chat with him. I'd love to see if he could get out of that deal. I'm also kind of gutted for him. I feel like he would have added a couple extra zeros to his contract value if he was signing now compared to when he did. He sounded like round 2 or round 3, right? So he'd obviously negotiated before that. He's a household name now, and he would have some highlight reels to go with it. I feel like he's potentially cost himself $100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one. Clark Laidlaw talked about the game, how he doesn't see it as a loss because it's only a 2-year contract. He's only 23 now or whatever it is. So he can come back, and if he's in that sort of form, he's going to play for the All Blacks. I mean, if you score 9 tries in 7 games, you're going to play for the All Blacks, aren't you?
I feel like wingers is a position, where
true.
there's always a hot new thing, right, that everyone's in on.
And this is the time for him.
And are you giving a Cody Vai, who's also right up there at the moment, are you giving him a chance to perhaps, like, you got Tangitau, who's in, really, but then you got Vi, you've got all these guys. I feel like Whineanganofo was right there, and then there's going to be someone else in a few years' time for sure. Not saying that he won't come back and make it, but yeah, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Blues 40-15, interesting game. Drua certainly didn't roll over. I thought once the Blues hit their straps, the scoreboard blew out a little bit, but yeah, the Drua put up a bit more of a fight than I thought. They got outplayed in the end. I thought Bodie pulled the strings pretty well, but yeah, look, it's max points for the Blues, but I don't know if they'll be overly fizz. I expected a bit more from them.
Yeah, Vern said it was a tough game and sort of a physical game. They didn't adapt well enough early on to the physicality. It was a bit like the Moana game where Moana were in it for a long periods of time, just making it difficult for the Blues. But then once they got into halftime, they sort of came back strong. I asked Vern after the game, I was like, what's the change between your strong finishes now? Because they've sort of gone from the start of the year where they lost to the Brumbies and the Chiefs in the end.
At the depth,
compared to now where they're starting really average and finishing strong. So, and he said it's just the team is just adapting to times that they can put pressure on teams. So I thought that was an interesting one because they probably knew that the Draw were going to go really hard to start and then sort of fade away late. So I think that's an interesting makeup because you do win games at the end of the game rather than at the start, right?
Yeah, you almost got to absorb, right? And then you flick the switch. But it's hard to do that as well. So, yeah, well done to the Blues. That game against the Canes is going to be so exciting.
Is Sam Darry in the picture for one of the starting locks,
100%.
do you think?
He is playing so well. He's physical too.
He's big body.
Big body, knows how to use it. When he first came on the scene, I was like, look, he's skillful and everything, but is he going to be physical enough for international footy? He definitely is. He's been impressive, but those Chiefs locks have been pretty good too. So it's good problem to have, right? No Patrick Tuipulotu, no Scotty Barrett at the moment, but you've got guys really putting their hands up, and we need depth there. No Fabian Holland too, so I feel like lock was a bit of a worry for us, but now it's not. So positive. And then on the Chiefs, look, a hard-fought win against the Force. The Force certainly didn't roll over, made them work for it. I feel like the Chiefs forward pack was pretty good. I thought D-Mac put them in the right areas with his boot. But you're still not 100% sold on what's their level of play at the moment, I guess. I'm still expecting more.
Sort of a story of their season, almost, that game. Like, it was ugly at times. I mean, lacked a little bit of cohesion. I didn't mind the McKenzie Jacob combination, didn't mind it. But, yeah, it was slightly average story of the season. Got the points, not a full allocation of points, and only 4 points, or maybe they got a bonus point against the Brumbies, so 5 points from the 2 games. Not ideal in Australia, but I'm sure they can bounce back and go forward. I think they've got to buy this week, or maybe they don't, but just check. But they've got to start hitting their straps. They've been disappointing, I think, so far this season. And really, they shouldn't have beat the Blues in round 1.
No.
And then a couple of those other games they probably shouldn't have won either.
And yes, they have injuries, but their strength is their squad, right?
Correct.
And how deep they are. And they've had a pretty bad run of injuries too, like Rona, Faketi, Walasatiti, all these guys out, Tupavai. So they have been hit pretty hard, but at the same time, they have such a squad. With the personnel they have out there, they should be winning games more convincingly. They host the Tars this weekend. So they're one of only 2 Kiwi teams to play.
They should win that at home.
They should. Tars will be up for it, but the odds right now, if you think their Tars are a sniff, $6.50 they're paying.
I don't think they're a sniff, but if you do, it's some great value.
And if the draw inspired you, $10 you can get for them against the Crusaders, which surely isn't going to happen.
Last game at Apollo Project Stadium as well.
There we go. And actually, on the Crusaders, almost forgot to mention Tamati Williams.
Really sad, eh?
Really sad. I do have to say, when I first started watching the video, I thought, oh shit.
Yes, I completely agree.
He is not going to play again. I thought it was going to be extremely devastating news. It's almost like he said he's going to be back playing 100%. A bad infection in his back.
Yeah, so it's like a disc issue.
Yep.
And the only other player, I did a little bit of research around that, is Adam Thompson. Do you remember him? He had an issue.
Did he have his World Cup medal stolen?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure someone broke into his house and stole his World Cup medal.
He won't be the only other rugby player to ever have this, but he's one of the New Zealand ones that has. And it did take a long time to recover. And Tamati Williams, in his interview and his YouTube video, go watch it if you haven't on YouTube. His channel, it's a good video. It tells you all about it. As good as the video can be. But yeah, he's sort of discussed about how he's got to be on antibiotics for 6 weeks once he goes home, and he's still in hospital at the moment. So there's a long recovery going on. I wouldn't imagine he's in the All Blacks frame now for the next... I'd say he's going to miss the first 3 games at least, because if you think of how many weeks left in the season, 8? I think there's 8.
Yeah.
So there's 8. So then if he doesn't go back for another 2 weeks, 6, so he misses the season, and then he's got to recover and get fitness back. I'd be surprised if he makes a game before the end of the year tour.
Yeah.
If that.
It's just brutal, right?
Yeah.
Because he's had bad injury run leading into this as well. He's been in and out. Love watching him as a player, but also love the person he is.
Yeah,
he
really good.
doing his own content and stuff, and he seems like a bloody good bloke. And again, just echo that I'm stoked he's going to be back to 100%, he said. Because when I first saw that video and he was on a drip and stuff, I thought, oh shit, this is going to be heartbreaking. And it still is. But fingers crossed for a full recovery, because it seems like a great bloke, great footballer. 100%. Big blow for the Satyrs.
Yeah, it is. They've got George Bauer there, so it should be okay. But it is.
Eels playing insane.
Really good football.
Yeah. Nah, we're lucky in that department in terms of All Black stuff. We've got some good props there too. But rest up to Tamati. And then just finally, the UFC, just to touch on quickly. Gutted for Izzy, 4th straight loss. He said he's not done. I want to see him fight once more, get a win, and go out like that.
Yeah, you don't want to go out on 4 losses.
I think a lot of people have turned on him in terms of he is one of the greatest middleweights ever. And hearing even Joe Pfeiffer say that himself was like a great acknowledgement to how good Izzy is. Yes, this last run has been rough. The last 4 fights have been rough. I feel like he's almost been winning all 4 fights at one stage, and then it's just the blink of an eye, a moment where he either gets taken down or he cops a shot, and perhaps when he was a little bit younger, he could sense those, he could take them a little bit more, he had a bit more power in his hands. I thought his leg kicks were doing massive damage in yesterday's fight, but then almost he got a little bit carried away, started just taking some shots clean out, thought Pfeiffer was going to stand and bang with him, and that wasn't the case. He took him down, and it was pretty nasty ground and pound in the end. But I will say, I really hope Izzy fights just once more, gets a win, and then he can retire and go down as one of the greats ever. It just grinds my gears a little bit. I feel like it's such a Kiwi thing, right? Everyone loves him when he's on the top, and now they're kind of throwing in their 2 cents. Now he's down a little bit. But yeah, to me, he's still the man, and what a career he's had. I just really want to see him.
He's got to win one more. He has to.
He has to. He can't go out. Yeah. He doesn't seem like the guy who'll go out on a loss either.
No.
I think his next fight will be someone that will literally just stand with him. But that's the only thing, right? Like the bloke he fought yesterday is a a striker, but everyone knows you can't just strike with Izzy. So yeah,
it was an interesting watch. It wasn't a great.
I was stoked it was free.
Yeah, TVNZ, how good?
Yeah, they dished it up, but
disappointing.
Yeah, rounded out a tough sporting weekend. But hopefully you enjoyed this week's pod. Of course, we'll be back on Thursday. Again, if you haven't listened to Surly Set of 6, check that one out. We'll be back to preview a big Warriors win coming up this weekend. Bounce back weekend, baby. Get fired up. Catch you back here on Thursday.